Alright, what is up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our first ever video, well, actually, second ever video on the channel. And today is Mental Health Monday. Pretty much with every week, we're going to be posting a video on Monday called Mental Health Monday, and on Fridays, I'm going to be posting a video called Flip the Mind Friday. Basically, on Mondays, we're just going to be talking about different things regarding mental health, and on Fridays, it's going to be more so talking about how you can start something like this, of kind of what I'm doing, and just so I can help you guys if you guys ever want to start your own type of like website or whatever it may be. I can help you with that, and also just go over a bunch of things that I've been working on and doing, and you guys can, I can keep you in the loop pretty much. Now, as we get closer to summer, I'm going to be posting a lot more videos. Starting now, I'm going to be posting every Monday and every Friday. I mean, who knows how many people are going to see this video? It could literally be 0 or it could be a million. I mean, we don't really know. I'm just going to make these videos regardless, and I just want to give my input on different type of things. Now, before we say anything, I got bit by a stupid mosquito right here, right on my face. Like I said, it's becoming summertime, so stuff like that's gonna happen. It annoys the piss out of me, but you know what? We're gonna do it anyway. Alright, anyways, we're gonna be talking about anxiety and what you guys can do regarding anxiety, how to know if you have anxiety, what are the symptoms, what are the treatments, what can you do for anxiety? Well, I'm going to be talking to you guys about that today. Now, first up, we're going to be talking about the symptoms of anxiety. Now, what are the symptoms that you get with anxiety? Now, there are a bunch of different symptoms that you can get with anxiety, some of them being like tired, fatigue, excessive worry, muscle aches. I mean, there's a bunch of different things that you can get with anxiety. There's just a bunch of different things that you can get, and not to mistaken anxiety for panic attacks. I'll talk about in a different video, because there is a pretty big difference between the two. Anxiety is more so of just this feeling of worry. Panic attack is like an excessive amount of worry and like a lot of stress, and there's a bunch of things a part of a panic attack that are way different than just in anxiety in general. Now, does it mean that if you have some of these symptoms that you have anxiety? No, because anxiety is a normal thing. Everybody gets anxiety. Everyone has anxiety. It's a part of life. It's what makes you human. But there is a difference between anxiety disorder and just general anxiety. General anxiety is that everyday thing that you get, whether that's you are, for example, like if I were to ride a roller coaster, I hate roller coasters with a passion. If I were to ride a roller coaster, I would definitely get anxious, right? I would definitely be like kind of freaking out a little bit, not to the point of like a panic attack, but I would be really, really anxious. And then something like anxiety disorder would be getting anxious for maybe going in the car, right? Something that isn't generally supposed to produce anxiety is now producing anxiety. That's pretty much what that means. If you are noticing that you are getting some of these symptoms a lot more often and they're a lot more persistent compared to what you're used to, then I would definitely, talk to a doctor, talk to your parents about it. You can do whatever you want. I think that is the best idea for that. And it will definitely help you understand whether or not you have an anxiety disorder or whether it's just general anxiety and maybe you're having a stressful time, because as you grow up and as you start to change, you start going through different things in life, and sometimes it can be very, very overwhelming for you. So that is why you need to make sure you talk to somebody about it so you know if you have an anxiety disorder. Now let's go over what causes anxiety. Now, there are a couple different things that can cause anxiety in life, like for example, like I said, with the roller coaster, or maybe something like you see something off in the distance and it's like looking at you creepily, something like that. Those are different things that can cause anxiety. Things with anxiety disorder can sometimes come from a phobia. It can come from, just different stressors in life. And there's a lot of different things that can cause anxiety and just make it spiral out of control. So yeah, those are some of the things that can cause you anxiety. There isn't always like a general pinpoint of what causes anxiety, because it can also be just a part of your genetics. It might not even be something you're worried about. It can just be, something related to your genes. And it's actually a little bit weird when you think about it that way. Now, what are some treatment options that you have to treat anxiety? Well, there are a couple of different things, and I think the number one thing that people think of is like therapy or medication that you can take. Whoever recommends treatments or medications, like doctors, those are the type of people who would give you it. And I'll obviously have my take on that in a second here, but I would say those are the common things. Therapy is outstanding. If you have not tried therapy, even if you're not going through something, therapy can be very, very good for you mentally, and it can help you out physically too. Another thing with the medication that can help you out is taking medication like on a daily basis can also be really good for you. Usually that can take some time. I mean, therapy can take some time too, but with the medication, it's more of like taking its time to, really go through your body and really kind of get itself used to your body. Now, one thing I will say about treatments like medication is that you have to understand that it's not going to work 100% of the time. It can take you many tries of medication before it even works, and sometimes that's the case. I mean, it happened for me. I've taken many different medications that didn't work, and it took a long time before I even found something that even remotely worked. So that's just what you have to kind of, figure out on your own, is if the medication works for you. Another thing about medication is that it can get worse before it gets better. Sometimes within the first couple of weeks, you'll notice that it's a lot worse. Like your anxiety might be a lot worse, your symptoms might be a lot worse, all those different things. And you just got to remember that it gets worse before it gets better almost every time, but that only lasts for like the first week and a half maybe, and then eventually it will start to fade out and you'll feel a lot better. Now, the reason I am making this video first is because the number one thing mentally that I've been struggling with is anxiety, specifically panic attacks, but as a category, I would say anxiety. Now, I have my whole story about the different things that I went through. If you want to check out my book, it's on my website. The website is called Flip the Mind, right here. Boom. It's got all these different things on it. There's a bunch you can read about on there. There's a bunch you can learn. And it's just a really good place to kind of find some cool stuff. There's also a Discord you can join. And if you want to join it, there's the link in the description. And you can just talk to a bunch of different people in there, and the bigger the community gets, the better it will be. Now, I'm going to give my take on what I think the number one thing you should do if you have anxiety, or you're noticing that your anxiety is starting to kind of spiral out of control a little bit. The number one thing I would tell you is to just push through that uncomfort, push through that, kind of unknown feeling of like, maybe I'm gonna die, or maybe something bad's gonna happen to me. And I know some of you might be like, well, what do you mean you're gonna die? It can feel like that. Sometimes it can be really, really bad, and it can make you feel a lot of different ways. And I feel like people don't really know what that feels like until you know what it feels like. Pushing through anxiety is the number one thing I would recommend for you guys, because that is the hardest part about anxiety, because you want to run, you want to hide. It's that fight or flight thing that they call it, and you just want to run, you want to hide, you don't want to deal with it, and you want to go to your safe place, but you can't do that. Otherwise, that engraves it in your brain that this is not okay and there's a problem with it, and that's obviously not what you want to do. I would say that's the number one way you can really manage your anxiety, and the number one way you can really fight that sort of feeling that you're getting, like in your heart, your chest, just everywhere around you. That's the number one thing you can do. It's the hardest thing, but it's the thing that works the best. Obviously, on top of medications and therapy, that can be really beneficial for you before it starts, getting even worse. It's better to take precautions like now if you're dealing with it than to take precautions later, because otherwise it might just get even harder to push yourself through that. All right, that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Like I said, there will be a video posted Friday as well, and pretty much I'm just going to be talking about different things regarding like my website and different things about Flip the Mind, some intel about the future of it, and all these different things. I got some cool things planned, but like I said, every Monday we're gonna be posting videos like this talking about different mental health things that you can go to and think about for the rest of the week. Make sure you guys subscribe. We're gonna try to grow this channel as much as we can, and a link to all of my different socials are in the description. I'll see you guys later. Take care.